Hey, it's Anthony Miser with Land Title. Came to bring you your first to know update for the city of Longmont. Really exciting stuff happening right now. We are seeing this real interesting transition. Last month, we had some of the best luxury sales we've seen. This month, we had a lot more below even the median sales we've seen. And so we've really seen this dynamic shift sort of as far as price point. But take it with a grain of salt because everything's fairly stable. These numbers on the average sales price look like they fell a lot, but honestly, it's probably the worst month for the year that we're going to see, and it shouldn't hurt anything. The median's up 2.6% from this time last year. That was a fairly low watermark there as well. So kind of, one or the other, it's doing pretty well. I think here's what you want to look at. The condo townhouse market is also experiencing some troubling times. You can see that the worst month of the year was July last year, and we're right barely above that. We've been trending a little bit lower than last year across a lot of the months recently. So we are seeing that price compress a little bit. The median tells the story better though. 6.7% drop in the median sales price year over year, and month over month it fell again. I mean, obviously, we should look at a second check, right? So we look at the price per square foot to kind of balance out some of that to see if maybe it's seasonality or whatever it is, right? And you can really see what I said about prices on the detached single family side are down 6.2% year over year. So we're seeing a little bit of price compression because we've had so much more inventory. The condo townhouse market, it's really still bouncing around similar to the last year, 3.5% down. Here's why. Active units came out, lots of sellers, right? You see sellers really come out of the gate fast this year. Lots of inventory came on the market. We did have buyers for the first, 4 or 5 months. We had better interest rates. It was really exciting and inventory did rise. But here we are in July again. And this is very similar to what we saw across most of the county last year. We saw a decrease in active units of inventory as sellers have become frustrated with the market conditions. So we actually have 7% less inventory now than we did last year, which is a good sign for sellers, but a lot of it's due to less sellers are coming to market, 13% less than July of last year. You only saw 176 listings come on the market, and we only picked up 136 under contracts. Now, good news is buyers are a little more active than they have been over the last year. You see a negative number here, but if you look at the trend of that orange line, we really have seen better than normal activity over the last few months. So better buyer behavior, still not as much as we have sellers. That's caused that inventory level to swell. And here we are, 3.3 months of inventory with frustrated sellers withdrawing listings from the market. So it's happening earlier than normal. Usually you don't see that until September, October timeframe. So expect a tougher third quarter for sellers and buyers. I think this is a great time to continue to shop. Clearly, interest rates are not changing much. We have a lot going on, but what you can see is there's still a lot of negotiating room for your buyers. Sellers can totally get stuff sold, I think. It's just how realistic are they going to be about the value of their house and bringing it to market in a really good condition. Here's the other part of the market. What does it feel like, right? It's actually moving way faster than it did last year. 21% less time on market than we saw last year. So the good stuff is selling. We have a lot of attached product that's sitting and some of the other harder to sell detached product, especially some of that luxury stuff, some of that really low end stuff, or maybe stuff that needs to be flipped. And then the percentage close price to list price is significantly above where it was a year ago, but it's basically right in line with what you should expect. It was a really awful month in July a year ago, so take that number at 1.1% with a grain of salt. Also, remember, it doesn't include concessions and it doesn't include price drops, so this number is falsely high, right? When you're explaining this to your clients, use some of those concession figures to help figure that out. Now, I wanted to finish with some really optimistic stuff. You can see showing activity is still well above where it was last year. We have 9% more showings per listing, 4.8 showings on average per house, and it's still trending very quick. 12 and a half showings to go under contract. So very similar to what we're used to seeing. It's kind of more of the same though, right? We're in this market for the last 4 years, and we're just seeing that, slow trudging market. So sellers need to be patient. Buyers have negotiating power, but it looks like this is a dose of optimism as we kind of head into the third quarter. Hopefully that works for you. If you have any other questions, concerns, or needs, reach out to me. I have lots of other data to help share if you need it. Have a wonderful day. See you soon.